Good afternoon. For those who don't know me, I am a student of Mr. Foster this year. He's smiling up there. And during one of his classes, he mentioned words like blackmail and black magic to us, and he said something that makes the whole room quiet. He said that these words are quiet carriers of modern discrimination towards people of color. Sitting at the back of the room, I completely disagree, and I was like, come on, not again. Right? How come this word is related to racism? It's nowhere near it. But I cannot just directly told him that, right? So I think about that problem for a couple of days, and a week later I walk up to the man and I ask him my question. He answered with patience. He told me that when people link black and other words and created the bad or evil words, and when they think of black people, they automatically relate them to bad and evil. And standing at his desk, I was like, okay, I don't totally agree. But that time was the AP recommendation season. Obviously, I cannot argue with him. I was like, okay, you know what? As long as you gave me my AP recommendations, right, you're always undoubtedly right. So I said, thank you, Mr. Foster, I got to go, and I walk out. And in the corridors, I met some of my friends, and I whispered to them, I said, you know what? This man is overreacting again. So later that day, when I have some free times, I start researching. I done any stubborn teenage boy would do to prove their teacher wrong. I started to find evidence to support my case. And that research is what brought me up here this afternoon. And frankly speaking, I lost two arguments. One in front of his desk, and the other one inside my head when I have more knowledge of how languages actually works. So before I tell you about the second argument that I lost, I want to share two sentences with you, and I want you to think about them and try to find out the difference between them. The first one is the new policy caused a change. The second one is the new policy produced a change. Do you feel the slight disappointment when you hear the first sentence but not the second one? Why is that? Well, it's because, cause is often followed by bad things like death or chaos, and produce is often followed by improvements and growth. That is not a coincidence. That phenomenon, a linguistic gave it a name in the 1990s, and the linguistic name is called John Singler, and he gave it a name called semantic prosody. That means that words doesn't only have the meaning from the dictionary. It has meaning from the environment people provides it. Right? Okay, so now you understand semantic prosody. You know that word doesn't only have the meaning from the dictionary, but why should you care? Right? Why I am addressing this problem today? Well, I believe that everybody has this scenario where you wake up in the morning and you grab your phone and you read the headlines. Right? So if the headline reads, "The protesters caused a government action," what would you think? You'll probably think that the protesters are misbehaving, they're related to some unlawful or immoral behaviors, right? And as I said, cause is often followed by death and chaos. But if the news reads, "The citizens produced a government change," what would you think? Well, I think much better. Why? Because citizen seems like a more friendly word, and as I said, produce often followed by, good things like improvement. So did anybody lie to you? Like President Trump said, fake news. Does anybody lie to you? No, I don't think so. But what actually happens is the subconscious that you have pre-installed before you even know it's there. Okay, so now you understand semantic prosody. Now you understand why we should address it. But now came another problem. So does the word only get colored, or does it shift permanently? Does the meaning shifts permanently? Well, it turns out that it does. And I want to introduce you a heavier concept called semantic drift. That means that word does not only get colored, the meaning of the word shifts permanently. And I'm going to give 3 examples. The first example is the word silly, right? Now, silly means stupidity, and if I said, "Hey, you're silly" to one of my friends, they'll probably feel bad for days or even weeks. But if you travel back to Old England and you said to a farmer, "Silly," he probably thank you. Why? Because at that time, silly means blessing. Okay, so with it, silly, the word transferred from blessing to stupidity, right? Take another word, gay, as an example. So 100 years ago, gay means cheerful. 50 years ago, gay became a slur, but now gay is a proud identity people hold. So think about it. The three-letter word changed 3 meanings in a one person's lifetime. Isn't that fascinating? Well, I actually don't think so. That's more concerning to me. Right? I'll take another example from my own mother tongue, Chinese. So in Chinese, there's a character that we pronounce as fu, and that means blessing and hope for the upcoming year. But recently, I've seen something going on in social media where people link the word fu to the word sha and create a new phrase called sha fu, and that means extreme stupidity, and it's extremely, just, how should I say this? It's a bad word, right? It's insulting. And wondering and thinking about this word, I was like, how can my grandmother's blessing for the family for the upcoming year change the words that's so insulting that when I said the word fu, to people nowadays, especially the younger generation, they would giggle in a very bad way because they link the word fu to the word sha, and they think, oh, this means stupidity, this is insulting. Why is that? Is that what we want our language to be? Well, I don't think so. But have you think about this? Why the meaning of his words changed? Who make it change? Did the linguistic committee set out a notice and saying, hey guys, starting Thursday, the word silly changed from blessing to stupidity? No. No committee has ever done that. And I don't think no is ever going to do that. Right? But why has it changed? So it turns out the words are not just neutral Lego blocks. Words are sponges, right? If you put it in a negative environment for too long, it started to soak in the negativity, and the stain on that word changed to the word itself. So that is the problem that I want to address today. So this is not just a problem with me and Mr. Foster or with any group. This is a problem that we face every single day. Right? For example, you talk to your classmates, you talk to your friends, and for some of you, talk to your students, talk to your children, talk to your bosses. The language we speak, they have baggages that we did not pick, and they have meanings that we do not meant to express. We like to say that language is a tool that helps us express ourselves, but after learning about semantic prosody and semantic drift, I start to realize a darker truth, which is sometimes we don't just speak the language. The language speaks us. Okay, so back to the argument I have with Mr. Foster. So did I win the argument? Oh, I think I did. Because if you grab the dictionary and you open it and you find blackmail in it, you find that it comes from a Scottish word. It has no relation to the skin of color. However, I have never felt so bad winning an argument, right? Because what Mr. Foster has experienced, he is soaked up in the pouring rain that word brings him, and me, an Asian boy, Asian teenager, walk up to him that day with a dry and with an umbrella with a Scottish footnote, and I said to him, "Sir, the rain wasn't there." I never felt more terrible about that. So back to my reason that I bring this speech to you. What is my purpose? What I want you guys to take away today? Did I want you to change the way you speak? No, obviously no, because I don't think that's going to happen. At least in my generation, that's not going to happen. But I want you to do is that the next time some people say that they're offended or a little disturbed about the language that you use, don't just go and grab the dictionary and say, "Hey, look it up, look in the dictionary." Right? Don't do that. Just think, and hopefully you will remember what I'm talking about today. And hopefully you will say, "Hey, is this man being too sensitive, or is he just trying to dodge the raindrops that have been pouring on him for his entire life?" So I want to end my speech by saying that, printers of dictionary, they are not lives. And dictionaries, obviously, they don't have emotions. But we, as humans, we do. And I truly think that everybody sitting here, we care about our community, and we care about how our language is used and how people are affected by our language. So the next time when somebody said, "Oh, maybe you should, I don't like that word," so maybe think of changing that word instead of just telling them, "Hey, you're wrong, you're technically wrong." It's my honor speaking to you. Thank you.